my papi. The orange money thing have a phone. Anything you want, you can just get a check like this.
And guess what?
What?
Even my school fee, that is see orange money. I see Umpa, that is see. Anytime I see go up, I have to the piano. Come on,
Piki.
you and your own pa, you're always late. Yes, you're always late. With the orange money song, it can explain anything that orange money can do for us.
Orange money get song.
You come and listen to it. Anything for that matter that you come and see.
Check that star 144 hash. Check that star 144 hash. Check that star 144 hash. Check that star 144 hash.
I wish money be life simple, simple for my people. I wish money on my sinker. It got me feeling first class. Oh. With orange money, I can send money to my buying ganta. With orange money, I can send money to my mind loafer. Just that star 144 hash. Follow the instruction and do what you want. Just that star 144 hash. Follow the instruction and do what you want. If you want pay for ATTeklo or pay your school fee, brother, you can use orange money. If you want buy your credit or pay your taxes, sister, you can use orange money. Oh.
Check that star 144 hash. Check that star 144 hash. Check that star 144 hash. Check that star 144 hash.
We are grateful this morning to be here again on the last day in this week of the KMTV morning show with me, AMOS Thomas Momo. Lots of things trending happenings in the country. We are to talk about some of those ones. The situation in Guinea, taking into consideration, Guinea is our neighbors, very close neighbors, and there is a serious situation there in Guinea, though the president made a statement on it, asking the security apparatus to rush quickly and secure our borders in making sure that people can just come in and go out, and also said that the Guineans that are in Liberia would be given the full protection, and called on the citizens there in Guinea to be very, very peaceful as the relevant authorities were addressed their plight shortly. And there are too many things, too many political crossing over. On yesterday, some young individuals crossed over from another party to another party in the CPP. I don't know what's going on in the CPP there, but there are too many crossing over. Mr. Byron Brown is the chairperson of the CPP, COP Intellectual Brigade. I think I'm getting it right. And some of his colleagues crossed over on yesterday to the All Liberian Party. That ceremony was well attended. There were some strong statements coming up from some of the individuals that crossed over and officially joined the All Liberian Party on yesterday. Strong statements as well came from the political leader of the All Liberian Party, in person of Mr. Benenda Rufa Ure. He spoke very strong yesterday, and he also made reference on the CPP issue that is trending Facebook. And he spoke very, very strong on some of the happenings in the country. If we had a time, we could play some of the video clips so you know exactly how strong he spoke yesterday. But this morning, we're going to be talking issues surrounding Liberia. We have a son of Bong County. He's right now a resident of North Carolina in the United States of America. He will join us this morning as we and look at the situation and the lives condition or living conditions of citizens in Bong County. He have been calling that Bong County should be an economic and industrial hub. We know exactly why he thought of requesting that. We'll also be looking at the political lives, the deliverables by politicians of Bong County. We also will be looking at the proceeding of this government. We'll be looking at lapses. I think he'd be very patriotic to speak to some of the good things if they are doing, calling, or from his own thought, the way he see things, though he's not in the country. But I think he following the daily activities back in Liberia. We'll be looking at it as well. We're also going to be looking at the opposition's community. What should be some of their responsibilities in the country? Is it like the CPP right now? They are serious backbiting. They are serious ulabalo there in the CPP who want to have the CPP ticket comes 2023. This is very serious. Joseph Yuma Boakai have some supporters. Alexander Benedict Cummings have some supporters. Benedict Cummings, Alex Cummings said he want to spearhead the ticket. And Joseph Boakai is saying, no, I've been here for long. I know the in and out of this country. I work in this government. I served the Liberian people for over 48 years. Studying to be corrected, and serve as vice president for 12 years. And so I know how the country runs, and I know those lapses and those things that the citizens need. And when you say no, you have to take a whole statement. What do I'm just coming, but for the little time I understand the political landscape of the country and I know exactly what is lacking and my experience in other private sector. I think I can lead the country the right way. So we have Mr. David Flomo as our guest this morning, but just before that we have Philly Digby Jr. He's watching us, and we have Isaac Debbie Williams. Those young guys are just looking for ends meet, bro. And Emmanuel Two-Face Declare, my senior brother in the media, is also watching. I want to say thanks so much from Kakata City there. And couples of you who are joining us, you are encouraged to also share this live podcast as we go about talking to a Liberian. He's based in North Carolina. He's from Bong County. And exactly we're going to be having a friendly conversation. He'll be giving us his sincere and patriotic stance on some of the proceedings in Liberia as he's following from the United States. Mr. Flomo, good morning, and thanks so much for joining us this morning. How are you?
Thank you very much. Good morning to you too. I'm feeling good. It's early here, 6 o'clock, but I made it.
Okay. And how's life going on?
Oh, life is going on pretty good. Thank God. I lead the family doing good, and job is doing good, and families and friends doing good. And pretty much we like any other country, we still dealing with the pandemic right now. The president just issued a mandate. It's going to be mandatory that all Americans and all citizens in the U.S. and get vaccinated, so we can get control of this virus. But other than that, things coming up pretty good.
All right. Great to have you this morning. Too many things we have to talk about. But just to begin, we have, and sincerely appeal to you to just tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Mr. Flomo? Though he hails from Bong County and right now in the United States, but in depth, just to know who Mr. Flomo is.
Thank you very much, and also welcome to our viewers this morning and our listeners. My name is David Flomo. I'm from Bong County, but first and foremost, I'm a Liberian citizen, but I hail from Bong County, to be specific, Kokoya District, in a small town called Bata. The place where I grew up and left, came to Bangladesh in 1966 to start my new journey in education. I stayed in Bangladesh up to 1977. I went to GF Clark Kindergarten, went to St. Martin, went to Massacre, went to Beaufort for a semester, and I left Bangladesh in 1977 to go to Firestone, where I stayed for my parents, my father and mother. I did my junior high education from there. Later on, I moved to, had an opportunity to get a Parsons Scholarship. I went to Ricks Institute, where I did my high school. And after that, I got into the workforce. I went back to Banga, my hometown. I worked for IEL. Those of you who remember, it was a small U.S.A project, Improve Efficiency for Learning project, where we did modules for elementary school, kindergarten to sixth grade to improve that learning, reading, writing, and math skills. And after that, I joined the Liberian Rural Communications Network. Again, another U.S.A project that brought rural radio stations in the country, Lofa, Grand Jita, and Bong. And we were stationed in Bong, and we were there. It used to be ELRG at the time of the LPMC role. I learned all gone right now. And later on, I left, went and worked for WHO. When I worked for WHO, the war started, and I was able to leave the country in the early 90s. I'm here in North Carolina, where I've been most of my life, and with my wife and kids. Been married for 36 years. Met my wife from Banga too, from Methodist. We've been together since 1985, and we're blessed with 5 children. So this is David Flomo. I'm not strange to the county, and I've been there. I work there, and I know a lot of the players in the county, and I've been involved with. And besides that, I also was president for United Bong County Association in Americas. We will talk about that later on. And we did some good things for our citizens in Bong. So that's just a little bit about me. There's a whole lot, but that's a little bit about me.
Great to have you. Like I said, it promises to be very fascinating because you were back then in the media and you are an intellectual as well. Now, let's begin with Bong County. You have been requesting that Bong County be an economic and industrial hub. What brought about this quest?
The quest for Bong County to become an economic and industrial hub has a lot of ramifications. First of all, the county is blessed, centrally located, and we have higher institutions, Cottington Rural Development, and more recently the Bong Technical University. And so the county is blessed. We have research institute like CARI, we have Phoebe, and it's a county that where you live, you don't have to go outside of the county. You can be able to live your life, get a college education, and employ and take care of your family. So my dream, my aspiration for the county is that the county become the industrial hub for the country and a model for the decentralization that the government is talking about. I want Bong County to take the lead, but that can only be done when you take the government out of the people way and allow county superintendents to be elected, allow county attorney to be elected, allow mayor to be elected, so that they can be accountable to the people and move on with the development. And when I talk about the hub, it's like finding a piece of land, an industrial hub of 5 to 100 acres of land that the county will own to be able to encourage investors to come and establish businesses in the county. It can be housing, it can be banking, it can be research institute, it can be technical institute, technical school, and it can be a whole lot, so that we can lease it to investors for 25 years, 50 years, and that would generate a lot of funds for the county to be able to create job opportunity for our people. And once that is done, we're looking like the county having like a Bong County Trust Fund. That trust fund will be able to manage the county social services fund. We'll be able to manage money that comes from companies that work in the county. The resources will be put together to be able to reinvest in the county to create jobs for our young people. We can have a Bong County Higher Education Foundation that will be able to take care of the scholarship, that will consolidate the scholarship that we have in the county for individuals, for company, and the county as a whole. so that we'll be able to graduate more of our students instead of political scholarship, where most of our students are put on those scholarships and later on tuitions are not paid, they are dropped. So there's a lot of opportunity that we can do to create more jobs for our people. So that's just a little bit of it, but we'll get into
But
detail.
do you think Bong County is at a point where that can be done, looking at the landscape, looking at the attitude of citizens of Bong County, looking at the mindset in working in the interest of the county? Do you think is at a point where that can be done with the present
It can be done.
with the present economic status in the country, the hardship, so to speak? Do you think it can be done at this point?
It can be done. It can be done, but it takes the willpower of our leadership. It has to do with people who have vision, people who want to ensure that the county become a county that will attract a lot of people. It has to do with people who put their ego aside and be able to develop a framework, an agenda for the county for a long period of time, not just for today. It can be done. And like I said, it has to do with the political landscape of the country. If we have counties responsible to govern themselves with the decentralization they're talking about, you don't have the political appointments in the county where they are loyalty not to the county and the people, but they're trying to protect their jobs. You don't blame them. But if you have a county where you elect the superintendent, and our superintendent will lay his or her vision for the county. You have a mayor that will be elected by the citizens of the county. They will be able to work together and lay a foundation for the county. So that way, the people can have a saying, and as to how the county is governed. Let's say, for example, if you get a county superintendent, he or she can have one representative from each district that could become the county council or council, and they can be at administrative building. When they talk about budget, they're talking about projects. They can advise the superintendent, and like some of the things we're talking about, and they can start putting on the table and see how it can be done. We have the money out there, we have investors out there, we have thousands of Bong County citizens in the country and outside of the country who will be willing to help to move to make sure that this thing gets done. But again, the decentralization policy by government should be allowed to go forward. Once that is done, our people will have the free hand and the latitude to go ahead and get their own leaders that will be able to at least serve them accordingly.
Now, let's get to the political life of Bong County presently as we speak. You in the United States, though, but you are following the day-to-day activities in Bong County. You care to talk about the performances and proceedings of lawmakers in Bong County? I saw you and one of the lawmakers in the photo, Senator Primo, and I think you his good friend. I don't want to ask you about him because I don't want you telling me all lot of good things about him. But with the exception of Prince Moy or Senator Prince Moy, do you think those lawmakers that are in the 6th district of Bong County are performing to the tax per which the citizens elected them?
Again, like you rightfully said, all of the county authorities, the members of the caucus, I know pretty much over 90% of them because I have worked with them. The previous caucus members, like the two mothers that were there, Prince Moy, and I worked with all of them, the former mayor, and I worked with them. What's happening in the county is this individual tendency to be able to project yourself that you can do a lot, especially with the resources. But again, like I was saying, let's take for example, if the caucus, they need to work together for the good of the county, and we've been calling for that for years. Let's say the county resources, it all have to do about money. It has to do about money. It has to do about money. Like the county resources, county social development fund. I think they should be able to map a short and long-term plan for the fund that is from the social development fund, and also from companies that work in the county. But I said this year we're going to do this project. This year this project in Saula, Turuta, and being spray over and make sure that these projects are done and awarded to good contractors to get it done. So they need to put their eye together. I can say that. They sit down together as representatives of the county. That the people elected them, although they're from different districts, but they were elected by the citizens of the county. Let me just give you a quick example. When I was president for the Bong Association, I used to invite all of them to the convention. They used to come they used to come here in the state. They used to come to the U.S. And one of the things we used to do is we used to sit together and say, how can we work together to make sure that we all have a lasting impact on the county? Because we have the resources here, and they got the resources there too as well. And let's talk about education. What can we do that will help the entire county? And I suggested one time, let's have the county higher education foundation. Because most organizations in foreign countries, like America for that matter, they want to deal with institutions. If we say we have the Bong County Higher Education Authority, for example, the Higher Education Authority will manage all our scholarships, local and foreign scholarships. And people who give them scholarships can put that money. Then we from the U.S. can work with higher education in America to provide scholarships so that we can have our young people come here and do that graduate studies in that will be able to help the country. And one of the things we did was able to revitalize the Baltimore sister relationship. And one thing that in serving the people benefited, the late Dr. Wati, the late Paul Riches, they all came to Morgan University and they were able to get education when that became county education officers and all of that. So when these plans are made, they want to deal with like an institution we have in Bangladesh. They don't want to deal with maybe, for example, one representative in the district, one representative in this other district. It becomes fragmented. So we said, let's do that. And once that is done, I think we'll be able to help our students. And our foundation can even have a dormitory at the University of Liberia for scholarship students, or at Cuttington in senior area there for students. While they're there, they can live there. So those are things we used to talk about. I said, let's take one of our districts and make that district agriculture to manufacturing district, where to make the whole car license and things. We invest some of the social services fund there. Our people want to make those car licenses and tools and sell it. They'll be able to take care of themselves. Let's make one of our districts the fabric of manufacturing area. We invest some of the social development fund and put a little factory there where they can do uniforms and for churches, for schools and all of that. We ship it to other part of the country, and people will be able to survive. You can have some for carpentry and woodwork shop. One of the districts can be done for that. So that once our people are empowered and working for themselves, they will stop going to these representatives and senators at their houses and sit there all day. I don't think that works. So those are some of the things we were talking about. And once they put their mind together, put their eye together, they can do that. And that brings up the Bong County a trust fund. The trust fund can have that money in it. Once that project identified, will be awarded to the real contractor to get it done. And companies like M&G that work in the county and other companies, they can put whatever belongs to the county in that trust fund. It can be used to the development of the county. So those are things that we're talking about. It can be done. And there's a lot of us here in Germany, in America, Canada, a lot of our Bong County citizens who are willing to make sure that our county becomes the model of decentralization in the country.
Now, let's look at the issue that has to do with the deliverables. Normally, a lawmaker would say, I will send out the House of Representatives on 3 counts. And those are lawmaking, oversight, and representation. Now, the oversight aspect is not specific, it's not particular. This is the reason why they gave you constituent funds. In recent time, they gave them 30,000 for constituent engagement. And constituent means that you should go back to your district, know those things that are lacking, and see how best you can find solution to them. Do you think the ones that has to do with deliverables and getting back to the people of Bong County is working in our present day lawmakers' functions?
It's not working, not just in the county, but in the entire country. I think the oversight, they should be able to make sure that money or resources are allocated in the budget for projects in the county or our respective district. Again, they will come and sit together so we have this money in allocated. We can use it for the district. It's not working because lawmakers, they are not project managers. They're not there to be carrying on development projects all around the place. And everybody building clinics, building no nurses. Nurses are not trained. These are things that you need nurses trained. You want to build school, you got to have teachers trained. You got to maintain the building. There's a whole lot. So uh, it's not working. That money should not even be given to them. It should go in the development fund, the social development fund for each county. That will be managed, like I said, for Bunker, like a trust fund. Bunker and a trust fund can manage that money. Let them just ensure that there's a need for clinic, there's a need for school in the county because this district or this part of the county is getting overpopulated. And get their hands off or implementing the project. That's what they do. In America, you don't see representatives going around school, building clinic, but to make sure the money is there. That if it's going to Forsyth County for community college or for rural hospital, the money will be in the budget. When the budget pass, that money is there. They'll make sure that that school is built, that bridge is built, but they're not the one that they had to award a contract. So it's not working. So that oversight part with money, it's not working. And I think the government need to look at that very high, on the agenda and then see how they can redirect the fund. The 30,000 you give to somebody, in fact, they'll pay that there before they even get to the county. So it's not even working.
If you were to be asked to point out two things that are essential to the people of Bong County and lacking, what are those two you will point out?
One thing I would say is lacking is reconciliation.
Okay.
I think it's time that we put our county first, put our individual differences aside. It's a tough thing, I understand that. It's with this quote unquote lower and bond thing that they got in the county that continue to divide the county. We all Bong County citizens and we are Bong County people. So we need to reconcile our differences and put our county first so that we'll be able to carry on development and for the good of the county. And do away with this, the lower or Bong, and all of that. I'm from Upper Bong, you from Lower Bong. You know better than me. I'm educated, you're educated. I'm a farmer, you're a farmer. So that's one thing, reconciliation. And it should start among our leaders and it flow down to the citizens. So that's one thing lacking. And another thing lacking is the vision for the county. Like I said, if our leader has vision, we can have the Bong County Citizen Conference and that bring all of our citizens together. So this is our kind of what can we do in terms of peace, reconciliation, development, and accountability and leadership in the county. What can we do to put an agenda together, roadmap for the county? So that's one thing that's lacking the vision. So people are just doing their individual things in the county, and it's not happening. And this honor money again, like I said, everybody want to prove that they're in charge, and when they're not in charge, the citizens are the one in charge. The citizens are the one that made and gave them the authority. So everybody want to prove that I can have the superintendent appointed, I can have the superintendent fired, I can have the district commissioner appointed, I can have the district commissioner fired. But back in the days when I was growing up, these people were elected, district commissioners, and superintendents, and all of that. So no representative or senator going to say, "Why are you?" And that none of the citizens can do that.
Okay.
So too much power being given to these people that we need to take some of the power out and away from them and let them govern. So those are the two major things that's lacking in the county that we need to work on.
Do you have
Reconciliation.
Do you have any intent one of these days of coming back to Liberia and represent the people of Bong County if they call upon you?
Well, no one knows the future. The future is not guaranteed. But yeah, it's not guaranteed. And I personally, I have never worked for government through my life. You'd be surprised. I never worked for government. I work in the private sector. So that's intent because I might not have the resources. I'm not going to take all my retirement money and kind of run campaign in Liberia and something like that, But I want to come and be able to be a part of these issues that I'm discussing so that who can have resources to put it together and run it in the county, or have my own business, be able to hire and provide opportunity for the young people. That's what I'm talking about. And actually empower our people with knowledge, what they need to do to help themselves. How do we need to hold our county officials accountable. We are empowered to that extent. And I think do the best thing. Like even election time comes, somebody being in power for 2 3 years, I'm going to build clinic, I'm going to build hospital. They come back in there, now you build a clinic or hospital. They come back, I'll build road. I say, what a road, the clinic you say you're going to build in the first time. I ain't seen no clinic, I ain't seen no road. Then you coming back with promises. So these promises to be promised that they can. If they don't give them job, and they'll be done with you. And they come in and bribe you, maybe give you rights, because they feel that you got nothing. You got to go bow down to them. But when we empower our people to get their own resources, their own money, like some of the things I'm talking about, creating the job, economic zone, carpentry, fabric operation in the county, MNG, to open a central office in Banga, they will provide employment. And once we employ our people, and they have the resources and the money, they'll be able to make decisions without depending on anybody. Let control from the government, our own payroll. And, if you're working Bong County, you should be on Bong County payroll. And we'll make sure that we have our own pay master that will be able to pay all our Bong County employees. So people say, well, I have to work for Bong County, because when you work in Bong County, you get paid. But everybody got to go to Monrovia. People want to pay for someone, they're not even in the county. They're just there to on Bong County payroll. So those are things that we're going to be demanding from the government when the decentralization takes place. So just for the good of the county. So my future is hanging in the air. But I can tell you that I know I'll be able to help. I won't be quiet.
Okay. He will be able to help and not always quiet. Now, let's get to the United States. How was the United Born Citizens Association living in the Americas ended?
It's a great organization. I'm proud that I served as president from 2014 to 2015. And when I was president for the association, it's an advocacy organization for our citizens here in Liberia and also in the United States. And we meet annually on convention, and we sit and develop a roadmap for it and for our communities. And it's a chapter based. Every state has the opportunity to have a chapter, and the member of our association. So it's a great organization. When our president, like I said, we involve a lot of our people from back home. I brought in over 18 of our ordinary citizens. It was not just county officials. I was able to get the 2 mayors here, Mayor Viola, and also Lucia Herbert. The Christian Association, we were able to get them here. Reverend Sunday there at Bible, and they got a church there. We were able to get a civil society here. Stephen Mulva were able to get them here. We were able to get the Silent Development Association for president here to come to our convention, so that to discuss how best we all can work together to move the county forward. And right now, the association got a problem right now. We got confusion going on, and it's gaining us of our people not to follow the Constitution, the rule of law. Like in Guinea, the Constitution is a 2-term. You want to go 3rd term, you violate the Constitution. So this year is a problem for our organization, because our last year convention, normally when we go to convention, the convention sitting decides where the next convention goes. And we all go there, which is the General Assembly decision. We were in Kentucky. Kentucky said we're going to Philadelphia for 2020 convention. And it was agreed. The national president, Samuel Sona, communicated with the Philadelphia chapter. They met, and they were in the planning until the pandemic came about. So we kind of got rescheduled. In the process of the chairman of the board of directors, Mr. Nathaniel Dakakwe, decided that convention going to Minnesota, which he had no authority to do as chairman of the board of directors. And the president came and joined in. They went ahead and decided the convention would be in Minnesota. And candidates that were running, it was election year anyway. Candidates that were running, like George Tudor decided to not to participate in the process, because the rules were not being followed. So there was a convention in Minnesota with only one chapter, which was the Minnesota chapter, and the election commission for our organization did not go there because they did not have the quorum, and they went against the Constitution, created the our election commission, conducted the election, and our selection process anyway. That Campbell Qualley was president, and another group went to Philadelphia, which was the constitutional venue, and they elected George Toto. So right now the organization have two heads, which is bad for unity of our people here and back home. But right now there's a mediation committee that is working to see how they can resolve it. But again, once we follow the rule of law and constitution, we will not have all the issues. So that's what the association is right now. So we're working on it.
You people are working on it. Let's look at your activities back home. What are some of the activities of your organization back home in impacting the lives of Liberians and Bongese, so to speak?
Before the war, like I said, before the Civil War, the association had a real impact on the lives of our people with the Baltimore Sister City relationship that I was talking about. There was a culture that changed program that used to go on. We had Baltimore Sister City helping our city. Even the police, they used to providing logistical support. And on the educational side, there was scholarship coming from Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. I got Wati and Paul Richard and the rest have been here to come and participate and go to school and go back and be able to serve. So those things was going on until the war came. Everything came to a standstill until after the Ellen administration, when there was some sanity prevailing in the country. We decided to jumpstart all of those activities. We revitalized the city relationship with Baltimore so that we can start to have these incentives. And the organization itself, we were able to purchase the land in Banga, the administration of Benegasini, which we're going to use as a resource center, so that it can be the library resource center type, so that Bong County students will have the opportunity to go there and communicate with us down here, and we'll set up a big computer center and be able to do a lot of work there. And when I was president, I assisted our administration, for that matter, assisted the college. We were able to get them a whole lot of educational material, books and other things, for the college to have a library today. And again, we're able to bring our people here to discuss the features of our county. And there was a plan on the way for us to have a citizen conference in Banga so that they can tell us exactly what we need to do. So the associations have impacted the lives of our people. Some people have been in the association, have left and gone to Liberia and worked there as well in the county, like the late Sona. He used to be a member of the association that went to the college, and a whole lot of them. So when it comes to the human resource capacity building, we have done a lot. But with physical structure, that has not been done because of our revenue. IRS started in the country as a 501c4 organization, both political and a non-profit. So that have been the trend. But there was a plan on the way so we can have a foundation, the UBCA foundation, that will be able to take care of the social services issue. The momentum was building until the beginning, but there's a lot that need to be done. But purposely, I really want us to focus on developing the human resource capacity for our citizens and be able to make sure that we get a lot of them here to get trained and go back home and go back to the county and be able to work, so that these recommendations and this vision that we have will be able to hire, to employ a lot of our college graduates, a lot of our high school graduates, a lot of our business people who want to have a bank in the county, the farmer and marketing investment bank in the county, and so that our people can stay there and work. So the association has got the vision to work with the leadership again. They have to come together so that we all can identify what's good for the county and for the good of our people.
Now let's get to governance. You are in the state, like I said, and you've been following closely the happenings back home. With the first 3 years of this government, what's your take on the proceeding of the U.S.A government?
I must first of all say that the U.S.A government is keeping the peace. One thing I must give them credit for, because for a long time our country has not enjoyed peace, and the earlier administration transitioned the peace to the CDC government, and we enjoy the peace. That's great for the country.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of work to be done because this government had a mandate from the people to do a lot for them, and I think they need to deliver. But on the deliverable, it has not been coming, and it's all in the work. I think they can do it, but again, like I said all the time, we are all Liberians. That's the first thing. I'm a Liberian. That should be the first thing. Political parties coming to power is a good thing because that's
Mhm.
institution. But when it comes to the governance of the country, it should be inclusive and to tap on the best brain of the citizen, whether they're in your party or not, because that contribution is going to be to the country. So you do that so that they can help your administration to deliver. But when you don't do that, you're going to have people in government who will not be able to deliver. They don't have the contacts. They don't have the capacity and the capability to deliver. They're going to hinder the overall agenda. So that one thing they need to get beyond that. CDC is not a country like the rest of the country. So you don't have to have all CDCs in government higher authority. We
Mhm.
should be in that opposition, qualified Liberian. So you can do that. And two, um, the wasteful spending in the country continues to just go on, and which is very, very bad for the country. The country have the resources, but look at the salary structure from the president down to the lower president. President can be making $3 million in the country where people living on $1 a day, and those are things that this popular youthful government, I thought they were going to be looking at. So we're going to reduce the president's salary to $1.5 million and take all the rest of the money and put it somewhere. We're going to reduce all the representative and senator salary to $75,000 a year. You can live on that in the country. Or the minister, they know $60,000, $65,000. You can live on it. We're living on it in this country. We pay our mortgage, we pay our car, all of that. We pay our bills, all of that. You can do that and take some of that money and shift it to the development of the county. So which are those are going to be the big thing. They started doing that, the harmonization policy. I don't know how you better that is working. And also most of the benefits that the people get, gasoline, fuel oil, all of that, they can buy their own fuel oil. They can buy their own gasoline. So and money for local travel, going to your constituent, you got to get per diem. Going to Ghana, you got to get per diem. Coming to America, three set of per diems, local, national, international. Those are wasteful spending. You don't need all of that. And money for public relations. Every government ministry and agency have that down to the legislators. Like let's say for the legislature, you can say, look, let's have a foreign, let's outsource that to capital media, and they would take care of all of the internet, they would take care of the radio, the broadcasting, the delivery, all of that. Take that money and give it to them, and just continue your job. The same with the ministry. Cut down on some of the wasteful spending, all the drivers, janitors, outsource it to people that will hire people on the private field to do that. Let's cut down some of the ministries. Somebody now I'll leave that usefulness. Let's say the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs. It's not a standalone ministry. It doesn't have a building by itself. You just need the Office of Presidential Affairs and get a director. You don't need no minister for that. The Minister of Information, we live in the information technology age. You don't need no Minister of Information. On the Cultural Affairs section, you can go to Commerce. You don't need no Minister of Post and Telecommunications. You can take the telecommunication comment and put it up like on telecommunication and have postal services and get a director for postal services. You don't need a Minister of Youth Folks. You get in national youth, you get in national sports commission and get a commissioner for that. You don't need no minister. You don't need no for FDA. You can put for FDA. You can put it to Minister of Agriculture. You don't need no LPMC. You can put it to Minister of Agriculture. So you got to make the government smaller, efficient, and effective to be able to deliver, and outsource a lot of these things to the private people, like our company. And my government give me contract to provide drivers. My driver go to work from from 6, 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And after 5 o'clock, I'm going to pay them for that hour. If they want to stay and rendezvous with the minister, it's up to them. But o'clock, they should be able to go and be with their families. But instead, with these people on the like to go home, our wife say friend, family destroyed because of these kind of things. So those are the things I'm looking at. I want a president, especially like open President Weah for that matter. People don't have to go stand on the road when you're traveling. They don't have to red copy when you're going out of the country. It's your home. Get in your car, go to Raleigh, go for a travel and come back. The minister just stay and go to work. They're behind the president. We can let him stay home with our family. You know, so those are some of the things we thought that want to happen with the youthful administration, but it's the same government format that everybody, it's the same playbook everybody play into. And it's so discouraging and heartbreaking.
In one of your Facebook posts, you said that President Weah would not be missed at the UN General Assembly. What were you talking about?
He got a whole lot of work to be done back home, you know. And he could stay home and concentrate on a lot of work that needs to be done. And two, we have the UN ambassador, Liberian ambassador to the UN. Like, they can represent the president. Because when the president is coming, he's going to bring all the entourage with him, and they're going to get pedant, stopping, and all of that. And so it's not going to make no difference. And most of the time when they come, like most of the foreign African leaders and foreign leaders, they're not participating in high level of deliberation and discussions. They just participating, sitting there, and they come home. So they're not really being missed. Nobody missed them when they're there. So that's what I was saying. The president will not be missed. He can stay home. There's a lot of work to be done home, especially with the crisis going on with the pandemic. He should stay home and concentrate on what needs to be done. And don't come here and nothing to take back, but rather just spend a lot of money.
Mr. Flomo, what do you think should be the involvement of the opposition's community, like the CPP?
The opposition, they got a lot of work to do. Not everybody can become president of a country, but everybody wants to be president of Liberia. As a result, nobody become president. And when I say nobody become president, we let people who not organized. They don't have no platform. They don't have no agenda for the country. But it led me, you know, I'm popular, you know, I'm a celebrity, I'm a businessman, I got money. And you don't even see that bank account. They just say, the man got money, the man is rich. So if you have money at opposition, you can invest some of that money in the private sector and create jobs for the Liberian people. So what the opposition need to do is just sit together and say, look, this is the direction we want our country. We've been in civil war for years. Our country has not recovered since 1980. All of our institutions broken down. All of our human capacity destroyed. Our country has not recovered since 1980, 40 some years we're talking about. And the youthful population right now, they are the remnants of the civil war that was brought onto the country. They destroy. So our country got a challenge. So let's sit together, opposition, and say, look, this is the way forward for our country. Let's reduce the political parties. Let's come together and have, like right now they got CP, they have three political parties. CPP, they got Unity Party, they got Liberty, and they got
There are four.
Then that Euro Party, and, you know, the three. Let us sit down and say, look, I don't want to be president. I want the country to go forward. But if we go to the National Convention, and the convention nominate the standard bearer for the CPP, I think they all should respect that decision. You can't get it. Say, I want to be president. If you want to be president, go become president.